So you guys were asking about the soul drawings that I do, and I did one for Angie earlier as we were kind of chatting, and hopefully you can kind of see it. I think you need to kind of have my face in there to see it. But something like that.
I love it.
It kind of looks like her soul is flying in the ether out in the universe. Okay.
And the angel
But,
halo on top, which is nice.
Okay,
you said-
so there's so much going on in there. Can you explain a little bit about the soul drawing? Because first of all, I didn't even know you did them. So I'm just like, like amazed by what it looks like.
It kind of just naturally came about. I did a couple at one point where I was just home alone and just thinking about my twin. And I did me and my twins a long time ago. I couldn't find it, so that's why I don't have it here. But and then I was in a group of people who we were all staying in this place with each other, and it gets nerve-wracking when I can't express myself, and I was in a place where I didn't feel like I could express myself, and so I started drawing, and I drew people's souls, and they kind of just came out. The process is basically by intuition, but like point blank period.
I was going to say, do you get any like words or messages while you're doing it? So when you give the drawing to them, is there like a message that goes?
I do. One lady whose soul I drew in the group, it was strange that I felt beckoned to draw like a little tiny soul up in the corner. It didn't have a bunch of elaborate colors. It was just blue with the little center flame in the middle. I was talking about how this center flame is one of those things that is constant in all of these drawings, and also the halo. And in another lady, I felt compelled to draw like a little tiny soul up in the corner. And I didn't know where it came from, but I was just like, okay. And then she was like, what is this? I was like, I don't know. And it was blue. I was like, I don't know. It may be somebody who passed away, or, somebody who's connected. And she was like, my nephew passed away and his favorite color was blue. And so I was like, and so that was, kind of a testament to how it all comes in, how the colors come in, and even the shape and the size, and like sometimes it's the amount of color that has to do with maybe larger aspects of your character, or larger aspects of your soul, even aspects of your soul journey, aspects of your soul expression. So this is something that I am still getting used to. So like with tarot, it's just tarot all day and I can do the symbols all day. But with soul drawings, it's like this is still a work in progress for me.
Have you ever experienced in one of your drawings where maybe a woman had lost a child, maybe like before it came full term or something even, and that entity, that spirit, because when you mentioned that about the blue spirit, my mind instantly went to a child that she lost before it was born, a boy. And
okay.
Have you ever experienced that yet, or is that something? And I'm just kind of curious.
I have not experienced that yet, but I'm excited to, because there are people who ask about, they ask about people who have passed away, and also they ask about like their future children.
Right.
Okay. But as far as like doing a soul drawing, I've never had that before. The other lady, I think she said it was her nephew that had passed away. But I'm like getting chills, like just kind of thinking about, connecting with that kind of energy.
Yeah. Yeah, because there are times where go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. Do you ever think that it depends on, I'm sorry, God. Do you ever think it depends on like what they're going through at the time, or whatever their mood in, or is it just like their deep inner soul? Like, or have you not had any, things to compare it to at the time?
What I've noticed is it's how it's how the soul is expressing in this lifetime. And sometimes there are times where like certain traumas come out in the colors, or certain, not like pinpointing certain events, but like, this is why this color is here, because you're going through this, or because you went through this, and now it's a piece of your soul. And so that's kind of how
the drawing is more. Do you think it's a static drawing, or do you think it's fluid, and therefore there are times where when you draw that again, you'll kind of have the same basic colors, but the image will change because, again, of where you are in that journey? Or, I mean,
that's a really good question. And the universe is always in flux. And so I can only imagine, I've only ever drawn one soul for one person. And so I can only imagine that that's true. I can only imagine that if it's drawn more than one time, then something else will come out. And I will tell you, I was a little bit nervous when I was drawing, like, because I didn't know that I was gonna have to do it, and it was my idea. So, and Spirit was like, "Hey, just go ahead and do it." And I'm like, "Oh, and I got a little nervous." And so, like, maybe that's why it didn't turn out like,
I love it
the way I wanted it, or like, I didn't get to like take my time the way I wanted. And that's definitely not because of you all. I'm just like, I was just like, I want to make sure that I put the right energy into this. But I do believe that it can definitely be fluid. I feel like if I drew this again, and if I sat down and, just in silence, I feel like it probably would be different. I feel like the colors would be the same. But this is like how Spirit is showing it to me right now. It's just a fluid depiction of what is going on right now. Like it's more about the colors, because when I was in that group, when I was doing all those soul drawings, I started noticing like different geometric shapes were coming out, and different positionings of like the wings, and so as I was talking before, like the constant commonalities between these drawings, there's the flame inside. Everybody has one of those. Everybody has a halo, and they're often different colors. And then it's often like kind of, I think Don was talking about, it looked like a bird, kind of like wings that come out. And so the difference between each soul, sometimes that flame is a little bit lower, or sometimes it's a little bit higher. Sometimes the wings are like very vibrant and, like out there. And then sometimes they're just kind of small. And so that it's a testament to the variation between our souls, and really a variation between our experiences. Because if you really want to get into it, the flame here, that's the eternal soul. That's the eternal light that is
and
the
to me, it
oneness of us
immediately
all.
looked like praying hands. When I first saw it, it looked
It
like
kind of
praying
does
hands.
look like praying hands.
That's what I thought when I first saw it.
Think about I see.
Uh-huh.
I see. Wow. I see that. I never even would have I never even would have pulled that.
It's so much to see. I can't wait to get my hands on it to see it. And it would be interesting to think like, oh, maybe every year on your birthday to get one to see what it's like. That's a good idea. That would be like a good birthday gift.
Yes, that is a good idea.
Are you tapping energy, or are you get the visuals and images? What is it that's working in your process? Is it the energy coming through and that's the fluidity, or is it just an image comes through and you're like, wow, boom, I see it? How does, again?
It's definitely the energy. It's not like I saw this and then I drew it. It's the flow. There's a process of choosing the colors. And so like, just grounding and centering, and then I just choose the colors the way Spirit tells me to. And then it's just a matter of putting it down on paper. And so I guess it would be just the energetic flow that creates, the work.
I think it's a stunning gift, and I have to applaud you. I've seen people do variations of pictures because of images they're picking up about people, but to be able to tap the soul, I think it's an amazing thing.
Awesome.
To be able to take it and put it onto an image that once you embrace it, you realize, and I'm guessing, I can tell you when Angie gets it, because she has such amazing sight and she has such amazing connection to spirit. She's gonna rub over it and feel it, and all of a sudden she's gonna
I
have.
can't wait to touch it.
You often past life regressions. You'll go on your own. You're like, wow, I can sense what this soul has been through. I can only imagine. And because you created that and put it on paper, you've brought that talent. You brought that opportunity. I think it's wonderful. I commend you on that. That's just amazing to me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I know that I, more likely than not, I'm going to sit down and do it again. I'll probably use the same colors, but I'm going to sit down and do it again because I want to make sure.
Just make sure you sign it so I can say, I knew you win.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I will. Absolutely.
No, I want one. So
I'll do them for all three of you. You know, just email me your information where I can send the physical copy, and I will. And I go with the flow, so it might be a couple months, you know, but you will get it.
Super.
So you mentioned that you know, your gifts are still coming, like this is a new gift. Is there one that you lean on more or that you prefer more? Like I prefer probably the visual and the hearing. I think I like the hearing more than the seeing. So do you have one that you prefer more?
Well, before you answer that, Angie, sometimes you like the hearing better. There are other times you're like, shut up.
Sometimes I'm like, shut it up.
I'll have to say,
go sit in the corner, guys, and stop telling all the business.
Personally, my personal worst the worst one for me is the hearing, because it's just like all the time, and it's like okay, I need to ground and center. Let's turn some of this off, you know. And it often happens after working or after doing a bunch of readings for a bunch of people, and then it's kind of like residue that just needs to be cleared out. But one of my favorites is actually I would have to say the clairsentience and being able to feel.
Oh my gosh, that is the worst. I don't like feeling other people's stuff. I'll be like, make it stop.
It's funny because what I realized with Angie and I, like we've done a reading or two together, and it's like, because I'm an empath too, so I understand where you're coming from, right? I give her words feeling, and she gives my feeling color.
Wow.
So you're like the dynamic duo. Yeah, she hates to feel. So I'm usually the one interpreting the energy while she's seeing whatever it is she's seeing for them, you know.
And it's interesting because Tina, our mentor, she constantly tells us, don't own it. You can't own their emotions. You can't own the feelings. And so you have to kind of, as it comes in, you're thinking, gotta block it. I want to empathize with them. I want to understand them, but I can't own their feelings. I can't.
Exactly. Correct.
Because if you start owning it, exactly. Because if you start owning it, all of a sudden you lose perspective, you lose objectivity, and it's like, oh no, we don't want to go there. And I'm blessed because I'm claircognizant. So I get a download of data, and I have to figure out what it means and how it's going to play in. Mm-hmm. And the best part is once it's done, once I'm in front of you, if I'm doing a psychic read or even a tarot read, once I'm done, it tends to go as quickly as it came. The sad part is I know so much when it's here, and I'm like, I love all this information. But the good part, when it goes, I don't have to hold on to all that other stuff, and so I'm blessed with that. But we're taught. We're in our group that we work with. It's like, don't own it, don't take it in, just empathize with it, understand it, but let it go, because it can be debilitating. It really can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when you're getting the feelings, how do you control that? Or have you ever been overwhelmed by the feelings and you've just learned to, control it now?
I used to get very overwhelmed by the feelings of, the clairsentience. But at this point, I know I used to turn it off in a very unhealthy way, like all the time, by self-medicating with alcohol. And not that I'm against alcohol, I still drink every
Water
once
to
in a while,
wine,
but
water to
water
wine
to
is the first
wine.
miracle. Let me tell you, it's from the earth. It's medicinal.
Exactly. Grapes. It's grapes. Cares. But yeah, I used to do a lot of that, but at this point it's really just about remembering what's mine and what's not mine. And I stay, like y'all saw me, I stay with the selenite. I sleep with my selenite, and very often I sleep with other crystals, just to restart and reboot my energy, especially because I work at night most of the time. And even like when I work during the day, after having, because there sometimes the readings get really heavy, I just kind of put some crystals in my pocket, and I like to go and do something fun. And very often I'll touch my selenite, and then I'll go and play with my son, like, or sometimes go outside, or sit down and do some work on a project, on a drawing, or whatever kind of art is available. And that helps, that it helps to ground, because that is, it kind of speaks to the paradigm of transmutation as well, because like we can transmute darkness into light. Some people, if you choose, I guess, can transmute light into dark. I mean, but and we can also transmute residual energy into creative energy. And so I find myself doing that a whole lot here recently. If I go out into public and I'm out there for far too long, and it just gets overwhelming, I come home, do some art, and then create something out of that ugliness, out of that perceived ugliness, and create something beautiful by way of using my energy and using my density, using that beautiful balance between spirit and body to create something new. It's almost like, spirit and body, it could be male plus female equals a new baby, and that creativity is that baby that comes out.
You mentioned astral travel. Do you ever use that to kind of, escape some of the realities of, what you're going through, or the readings you've
Very
done?
often. I know if I could have a job where I sleep and every day and just sit and meditate like an oracle, like I totally would do that, because that's one of the ways, well, that's one way that I've learned a lot of stuff. And also that I feel like it's a better escape than unhealthy ways that I've done in the past. But as far as astral traveling, I used to do it very often. At this point, I only do it when I do it like when I'm called to do it, because where we are in the universe, and I mean where we are on our planet, things are getting really, excuse me, things are getting really shaken up because of this big transformation that is happening with every single one of us. And what I've noticed, I recently did a video during the day about the purge that we're going through. And we're all going through it in our own respective ways. And so with all of this energy that is coming to the surface, all of this dark energy that's coming to the surface, it's necessary for us to have a way to cope with that. And one of the best ways to cope with it, like I was talking about again, is self-love and self-care. Excuse me, I just kind of completely went on a tangent because like spirit is kind of taking me in a certain direction right now. And if you don't mind, I kind of want to go in that direction. It has to do with the place where we are in the universe, and with this transformation of our bodies into light. And so with all the density that's coming up, it may be challenging to know what to trust and to know what is real and what is not. And then we have to go into figuring out, what does real mean? You know, is this real or is that real? And we have to see the reality in both senses. And also, I talk a lot about the photon belt that we're going through, and how that photon belt is embedding us with all this beautiful light that we haven't felt for thousands of years, like hundreds of thousands of years. And so a lot of us are here. I'm pretty sure all four of us are here for this reason in our own respects. A lot of us are here to ground that light. A lot of us are here to help purge the darkness out of our beautiful planet, because she has so much crust on her. And I don't mean the Earth's crust, I mean like human crust on her that needs to be shaken off, and it needs to be transmuted into something else. And so that's a beautiful thing about this purge. We can use all of this darkness to turn it into something that works for our beautiful planet, and something that works for all of humanity. And it's necessary, because Mother Earth has like some serious goals. And I know there are a lot of people who channel Mother Earth, and I call her Chitaya, and that did not come from me. I found that name resonated with me from a video I watched a long time ago, and this lady was talking about Gaia is the third dimensional name, and then Chitaya is the fifth dimensional name. And so that's what I've been calling her. But like the times that I've channeled her, she is like, okay, so I got work to do, and I have goals as a planet, and one of her goals is to become a star, because she has the ability to do that. She has the ability to transmute into that. And even her soul, and the way her soul expresses as a phoenix, because she is a phoenix. I mean, think about all the times that in our history that we know on this planet. Think about all the times where she's been built up and then iced over by an ice age, or built up and then hit by an asteroid and then fire. You know, she has gone through all of these transformations, and she has the ability to rise as the phoenix that she is. And so
it's similar to what we go through as people, like all the tragedies and all the things that we go through. So it's very similar to that.
Yes.
A lot of people are talking about the full moon that's coming up in Aquarius. Like there's been more videos and more people talking about that energy than anything the last couple of days or so. So, and I've even heard that a lot of awakenings will happen. A lot of things are about to be, you know, changing and transforming.
Yeah. To piggyback off of some of what you said, Mikaela, about the evolution of Mother Gaia. Some of the things that came to me when I was meditating today was the exposing of our nation, the exposing of other countries, and the traumas that they've committed against a lot of people, right? And those of us that are doing the work, the shadow work, but there are also those that choose not to, that don't want to believe because they're mired in their own beliefs, right? And so one of the things that came to me was that this exposing of the atrocities that were done to us, right? Like America exposing themselves will help heal a lot of people as we go through this next shift of awakening, right? Because there are people, again, who don't know what shadow work is, don't understand it, don't want to do it. They don't want to face the thing that's keeping them bound, right? They don't know anything about ancestral clearing. They don't know anything about when you heal yourself, you're healing your line, right? They don't know about that. So this exposing of America, this exposing of other nations as well, and the atrocities that they've committed will also help a lot of people heal and help a lot of them to awaken.
I get really emotional when that comes up, because it's something, unfortunately, that we have done to ourselves as humans, and we have become so, we've allowed these paradigms to become so ingrained in us that it makes us feel kind of blasé about doing shadow work, and about becoming our better selves. And sometimes we have come to a place where we feel like our better selves is something that's very physical, when that's just a tiny little piece of it.
Yeah.
Clearing for, like you were talking about, our country clearing, and our country exposing stuff that needs to be cleared. That is like a perfect example of what Gaia is going through on a larger level, like Angie was saying. Okay, and because we're her living cells. If you think about it, think of yourself as Gaia.
Yep.
And then think of like a little ants crawling all over you, you know? And so when you're uncomfortable and you want to make a change, you got to wipe those ants off, you know? And sometimes let's think about it as bacteria. You got good bacteria that helps, and bad bacteria that doesn't. And so we have to find a way to shake off those bad bacteria so that we can continue to flow and thrive. And so what's happening in our country, and what's happening in so many countries around the world, as you guys I don't know if you watch the news, but like as we're seeing in the news, there's so many different things that are happening that is a testament to how she is shaking us off, and not killing us to be a jerk, you know, but shaking us off because of the need for transformation. Governments being exposed, and you know, even religious leaders being exposed, and you know, the paradigm of money transforming and being exposed, and all of these darknesses that are coming to light being exposed for the greater good and for the higher good. And so that's how I've been thinking about it. And as far as like the people who don't want to do shadow work,
it's going to get to a point where they don't have a choice. Like these things are going to come up, right?
Hi, we're on the same wavelength. We're thinking right now. We are right here.
Don't have a choice. Yeah. Look, I had to lift the glasses. Don't have a choice. Been there, done that.
Yeah. It will get to a point where they don't have a choice. One of the other things that came to me was I was talking to a friend of mine this morning who was kind of negative self-talking herself with some things that she was going through. And it led me to a meditation that I was having, that same meditation where the three of us that were brought up as Baptist Christian, right? We were taught what our parents were taught, what our grandparents were taught, right? So that's how those paradigms, right, got ingrained in us, right? We know they came from the plantation because they weren't our original beliefs, right? Those weren't the original beliefs of our people. So one of the things that came out in that same meditation was, you know, the church piles shame on top of trauma. So we shame the sin, but we don't get to the root cause of the sin. Sometimes the trauma causes the sin, right? If we're going to talk Bible, if you still want to believe in the Bible, the trauma sometimes leads to the sin, right? But also, it's not just the trauma. You know, people want to act like homosexuality is something new. It's been around since biblical times, if not before, right? Yep. Some people vibe more with their, you know, we all have masculine and feminine in us. Some vibe more masculine, some vibe more feminine. The problem is, or not the problem, but now, you know, it's more out there. It's more exposed, right? So it gives people more room to talk about it because they see it, versus understanding that this isn't something new. Sometimes it's embedded in our DNA. We don't know what our ancestors endured, right? Sometimes
Exactly.
it's in our DNA. That's that DNA clearing, right? And it's not to say that it's going to quote unquote clear homosexuality. Like, the churches always want to pray it out of you, right? Thinking
Yeah.
it's something it's a disease. It's going to go away.
Mm-hmm.
It's a spirit. It's going to go away. Allow people to be who they are and allow them to be their authentic selves, and they will show up for you every time.
Yeah.
But that's the same with even our gifts. Like they want to pick and choose who can use their gifts, or not even, just, there's
Mm-hmm.
we've had these gifts all our lives and we've suppressed them just because that's
We
what
were
the
told that they
religious
were
paradigm
demonic. We
wasn't.
were
And
told
so
that they
now
were not God.
everybody is kind of awakening, and there's nothing you can do. You can't stop it because
No.
all those things that kept us down no longer work. You can't keep suppressing, and now everybody is like, wait, I see a better way. I see the exact way that it's supposed to be. And they're awakening to that awareness and that their one-on-one connection. They're not awakening to that collective where you were all in there together. It's that one-on-one connection that everybody's finding with
It's the
their
relationship and not
universal
the
higher
religion.
self. And it's beautiful to me because I
Mm-hmm.
love the shift, and I love that
Yeah.
so many people are more openly just talking about even metaphysical or just relationship, spirituality, just everything that is so different than what I grew up learning, and
So
I love it.
this what you're talking about is basically the spiritual revolution that we're going through.
Mm-hmm.
And you've heard about critical mass. I talk a lot about critical mass, and whenever I go into meditation and I'm asking spirit about where we are at, we're at 51%. It's going to keep growing. That number is going to keep growing. We have embedded, I have to like highly revere and give a shout out to every single light worker, light grounder, light bringer who has done their work and who is still doing their work to bring the light to this planet. We have put in some serious work. Like, I really think that we really actually do deserve a round of applause, because we have brought a complete revolution to our planet that is helping us to see who we really are, and also helping that thank you, spirit, we'll get into it. So it's helping that light to ricochet around the planet, and us exposing the lies that have been told about religion, and that have been told about what we can and can't do with our gifts. That is helping us to all grow. And like you said, how the metaphysical stuff, how people are getting more and more used to it, that's Age of Aquarius right there, because that's going to be like the most regular thing in the world. Like, oh yeah, I got an astrology reading. Like, oh yeah, that's like regular now. Whereas years ago, that might have been a little bit taboo.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
But this ricochet that's happening around the planet, many of you may have heard of the Great Flash, that and we don't know what it's going to be. And I ask spirit all the time. They're like shh, they're like, surprise. Okay. And so it may be a actual flash that happens, or it may just be a flash right here that a lot of us may have already experienced, and that we will be guiding other people towards experiencing and guiding them in how to deal with it. I know that there's a lot of forerunners who are here. I feel like all of us are pretty much forerunners at this point, to help these next generations to realize what they can actually do with themselves.
Now, this conversation is amazing, and it needs to be had. But the best part is that it can be continued continuously when you check out Mikaela Andromeda and you go to her websites. And this is going to be your shameless plug, because we have to bring this to a conclusion because we are running out of time. So give us a shameless plug. Tell us where we can find you, where everybody can find you, how they can connect with you, and most importantly, how they can continue this conversation with you. This is your time. Tell us.
For sure. I am, and I go by the name of Mikaela Andromeda. I'm an interpreter of energies. My channel is Unicorn Funland on YouTube. I mostly do readings there, but we also have conversation there. I haven't figured out a way to do more about multidimensional speaking. I've been trying to figure that out for about 3 years now, and I still haven't figured it out. But you can also find me on Instagram. My handle's Pinkie Pie Sugar Pop. I don't do very much on my Instagram. I'm telling you, like I'm a little hermit, and I'm more interested in helping everybody on an individual level. But you can find my information on Instagram. I have a lot, like my whole Instagram, the majority of it I dedicated to giving you information, high vibration information. I am open to people emailing me. I'm always open to having multidimensional conversations. You can reach me at highpriestessmikaela@gmail.com.
What does that mean?
Pretty much every night I go live, but there are times where I will take like a week or two off. But if anybody ever wants to talk about things that are of a high vibration, things that are multidimensional, if you're ever confused about your ascension, I feel like I'm open enough for anybody to come and talk to me. You'll notice with all of my social media again that it's not like up to date, and I don't like keep up with that kind of stuff because I spend time in the ether, and that's like kind of my home. But readings, I do readings, $5 readings, $5 per card, 3 for 10. $20 mini past life readings, $50 full past life readings. I also I have on-call readings every single day from 12 to 4 p.m. Central Time in the US, where the $5 reading thing that applies there. I think that's pretty much it.
Your website.
As far as like my plug there.
And the soul
your
drawing.
website.
And the soul drawings. And this is new. Me like kind of putting the soul drawings out there. That's new, but you can get a soul drawing for $20 flat, and I'll pay for the shipping and everything.
And your website is what?
Oh, my website, unicornfunland.com. And on my website, you'll find out a little bit more about my background and what I do. You can see my testimonies there. There's a lot of people who leave testimonies as far as like, you know, what they felt and what resonated with them in their readings. I think my schedule is there, what I do every day. And and that's how you could find me.
Super. We appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us. This is Tanisha, Don, and Angie signing off for Just Spiritually Speaking. We look forward to having more interviews and most importantly, meeting folks like Mikaela and spreading the word. Thanks for joining us. We will see you next time. This is Just Spiritually Speaking. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.